news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's
Good Morning Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते, नमस्कार, वणक्कम, खुश आमदीद, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, सत श्री अकाल, मी कंदर नमो, जय स्वामी नारायण, जय श्री कृष्णा, जय जिनेंद्र। एंड ऑफ कोर्स हमारे सारे इस्माइली भाई बंधु बोलेंगे या अली मदद एंड मौला अली मदद बदजन। हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारा मैसेज वाला।
And of course, myself, Alturani, lekar aapke liye ek aur drive time that's going to make it totally exciting and totally mastani.
That's right, Banjan. Of course, आज of course हम लोग ये 227 days हो गया बना sheltering in place. Economy is opening up, as you know. Many restaurants also are functioning with 50% capacity, is what I've heard, or should I say 25% capacity. In parts of San Francisco, they actually are probably having 50% capacity, but otherwise, every other place is running at 25% capacity. And so, of course, it's still the fear of the coronavirus is still around.
Yeah.
And I would say watch out for that. Safe, better safe than sorry is what they say, right?
Yeah.
लेकिन अभी के लिए let's go see what's happening on the road. So let's take a हाल एकदम total सस्ते में.
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Well, Bajan, road, raste ka hal kya hai, except a particular accident which is on 101 northbound, south of 3rd Avenue in San Mateo. Everything else is looking smooth. I think it's the Friday syndrome which comes arrest Friday, because generally always to be light traffic for us. But suddenly, COVID situation mein, Friday also seems like a holiday day. Holiday. Seems like a holiday, not a holiday day. But anyway, a little bit of congestion on Golden Gate Bridge for some reason. It's totally backed up all through the bridge from the center to that end. Could be the thing that people actually are probably taking those vacations and all, right? They're trying to go somewhere over the weekend and all those things. So watch out for that. Probably you'll be stuck in traffic over there for at least the delay seems to be hard. So you probably might want to rethink going at this time. Probably stop in San Francisco, have some brunch, and then go on is what I would say. But other than that, there's no other mention of incidents around the road. It's pretty interesting. Weather-wise, dekha jaye to it's going to be a cold day. It's kind of cloudy, partly cloudy, not too much also. Right now it's in the mid-50s. It'll be in the mid-70s or upper 70s probably. It should be 77, that range. It's not too hot today. Probably Halloween is coming. If you guys are planning to trick-or-treating tomorrow, Banajan, please note, or tonight if you're doing trick-or-treating, there's some guidelines specified for that. In fact, some places specifically have said not to come for trick-or-treating and everything. So I would advise try to do the trick-or-treating inside your house if possible, and that's advisable, or with friends, most importantly. And make sure you go to places where they probably are mindful of the safety things and everything. So you got to be open-minded about that and see if you can change, or rather do a different kind of trick-or-treating. Like for instance, Pragnya is doing trick-or-treating upside Halloween Monster Mash. That's happening tomorrow during the day, not in the evening. It's going to be between 12 and 2 afternoon at Pragnya, which is at the right opposite our studios right here in San Jose, Banajam. More information you can actually find it on mediamahima.com, or you can go check it out on our Facebook page, facebook.com/radio day hotties. And I'll just a quick look at what the news is, right, Faltwani?
Yeah.
What do we have in the news?
Well, Altbaba, 8 people have been killed as a strong earthquake has hit the Greek and Turkey islands, Turkey and Greek islands.
Okay.
Russian hackers have specifically targeted California, Indiana Democratic Party. U.S. consumer spending has beaten forecasts, worries over decreasing government money. Tech stocks knock down Wall Street as coronavirus cases spiral. And Muslims across Asia against France as Nice mourns church attack dead. So there was somebody who was preparing for mass, and his throat lit supposedly.
Wow.
A police overpower threatening officers with knives in Paris. And there's a lot of people. It's not even that teacher who showed the cartoon of Muhammad, but Francis. that Macron, right? He made some statements which has irked Muslims worldwide, apparently, at this particular point in time.
All the headlines are going to be discussed in detail in a few minutes, but let me tell you that if at all you missed any of the headlines and we miss out any news in detail for you guys afterwards, you can go check it out on newsblogmediamahima.com. Now, do you want to do news in detail, Faltwani?
Yes, let's give you an update on the coronavirus. Binjan, US coronavirus cases hit a record daily high with 88,521 new diagnoses and 971 deaths. With the way things are going, the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation at the University of Washington School of Medicine says that the daily death rate could triple by January. If states don't respond with more safety measures and people don't abide by them, the IHME says more than 500,000 Americans could die of the virus by that time. Other countries like Germany and Russia are also experiencing record high case numbers, and Europe has once again become the epicenter of the virus, according to the WHO. In election 2020, President Trump and Joe Biden are crossing paths in the final days of the presidential election. They both campaigned in Florida, as we mentioned yesterday, with Biden holding a drive-in event in the reliable Democratic enclave of Broward County, and Trump holding a rally in town. Their paths will overlap again as they both campaign in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Those are the important states for Biden to cover, since Hillary Clinton was criticized for neglecting blue-collar workers in the same region in the final days of her 2016 campaign. Meanwhile, the federal appeals court has ruled that the mailed-in ballots in Minnesota must be received by election officials no later than election day, and suggested voters consider other options testing their ballots if they think too late. So what they're saying is, do not mail in. If you're from Minnesota, don't mail it in. Go in and drop it off. Police violence protests. Philadelphia City has passed a bill banning police use of tear gas, rubber bullets and peppers during the protests or other First Amendment protected activities. Though the legislation was a response to protests over the summer following the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis, it comes as new protests roll in the city following the shooting death of Walter Wallace Jr.'s. Wallace's family believes that the city failed them, a family attorney said, but they are calling for the police officers who fatally shot him to be charged with murder because they believe that the officers were improperly trained and ill-equipped for their jobs. So, in ongoing protests, Walmart has announced that moving firearms and ammunition from their sales floors as a precaution. Like I mentioned, in France, it's reeling from a second brutal knife attack as it contends with what President Emmanuel Macron calls Eastern terrorist madness. 3 people were stabbed to death at a church in a French city of Nice yesterday, and authorities say that it was the work of an Islamist terrorist. So a suspect, a Tunisian national, was shot at the scene but survived and has been taken into custody. The attack comes on the heels of the grisly murder of a French history teacher on October 16th. The murder of Samuel Paty, who was teaching a lesson using cartoons published in the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo, depicting the Prophet Muhammad, ignited nationwide controversy over free speech, religion, and Islamic extremism. So that's something that I wanted to share. Also, Netflix, those of you who have been spending a lot of time on that, they're going to be raising their prices for their standard and premium plans.
What?
Yes, so it's going to get a little more expensive. And the beautiful Scarlett Johansson is newly married, for those of you who care. And
What?
She married Colin
God,
Jost.
Black Widow's married right now.
Yes, exactly. And guess what has soared during the pandemic? What?
Yes. Subscriptions.
No, Tupperware. Tupperware profits are soaring, Birjan, as more people are eating at home during this pandemic. Somehow we lose all the lids.
I know.
Exactly. So that's some of the news headlines that we had for you this morning. In news from India, I'm trying to see if we can pull up some news while we are talking over here. Well, okay. China is trying to manage minds of Tibetans is one of the news stories that is really hitting the news headlines, and also how Indian Americans actually seem more confident in Trump than in Joe Biden. That's a new story that's coming out in the Times of India.
That's because Indian Americans don't want to support it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. Indian Americans will not support it. That's true. You're so right, Altu Baba. How did you know that?
I know, Bill.
Yeah.
I have inside information about that.
Yeah. There is something about the Tibetan story that I shared. Apparently, the house is possible. There's what China is doing is actually building houses for people there. Officials in both Beijing and Tibet vetted reporters from media organizations who were invited. People are not allowed, media organizations are not allowed to go there. But apparently, they'll only have them meet people who are pre-approved by the government. And these people they say that it would have been possible to have like a house and a shelter over their head if it were not for the government and government policy. So that's how they've been keep people in check. In a daily news wrap, active COVID-19 case below 6 lakhs in India, in the country, below the 6 lakh mark on a Thursday, with the number dropping by more than a lakh in just 8 days. A slowdown in the pandemic continued in India. Well, for the first time since the pandemic spread across the country in April, Maharashtra has been displaced as the state recording the highest number of daily cases over a 7-day period. Kerala now takes the first place. And the Indian Army has developed its own in-house WhatsApp-like messaging application called Secure Application Internet for its personnel to prevent leaking of any classified information inimical intelligence agencies. So SAI was first developed by Colonel Sai Shankar, the commanding officer of a signals unit in Rajasthan, and then upgraded to military-grade standards. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh has also complimented Colonel Shankar for his skill and ingenuity in developing this particular application. So you can get information about all of this in our website, Banujat, mediamahima.com. So we're going to leave you with this beautiful song, Banujan, which is from the movie
Chalti Ka Naam Gaadi.
Yes. And we'll see you tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show. Tab tak ke liye have yourselves a fantastic Friday.
आड़ी चला चला के झूम तिरछी चला के झूम बाजू बाबू तो इशारे हॉर्न पुकारे पम 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 यहाँ चलती को गाड़ी कहते हैं प्यारे पम 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 डिरिडिरिडे टुरुडुरुडुरुडो डिरिडिरिडिरिडे टुरुडुरुडुरुडो डिरिडिरिडे इडे इडे.
We hope you're loving the music with the best